Well, hello there, motherfuckers. I gotta do a video response to a bunch of people in the comment section of my Captain America Civil War sucks video. Put an opinion out there for the public to enjoy. Try to do a video. I try to break down the movie, try to just state my opinion. People ask me to review things all the time. This one, I didn't even need it to be requested. Y'all knew I was going to do a review of it based on being a Marvel fan. I've reviewed all the other Avengers movies and everything. And that's pretty much what this Captain America movie was. It was just a cheap attempt at Avengers 3, getting Avengers 3 out there early without it technically being Avengers 3, because there is going to be an Avengers 3. I think in 2018 or some shit. Anyway, people have lost their minds, insulting me left and right, even insulting me with things that don't have anything to do with the film, calling me ugly, calling me stupid, and all these other fucking things. And this is even coming from one person in particular. The guy has been leaving constant comments on my videos, and this guy used to actually be a friend. He's a long time subscriber. Video Game Steve 58, I believe that's your whole name. Um, I'm not here to insult you or anything. I'm not here to say anything that's gonna get you riled up, even though I think that's what you're doing to me. Um, but why? Why are you getting so crazy because I put this movie down? You're first, you said, "Oh, I called it." I called it. Like, you're making a proclamation to the masses. He said on Facebook, you know, he, I said on Facebook that I didn't like the way how the trailer looked. I didn't like the way Spider-Man looked. I didn't like how they were giving so much praise to this movie so early on. When is it that you ever see a movie get glowing reviews even before the movie is released? You usually don't see reviews until a couple of days before it's released. They got this movie at a 90 something percent 2 3 weeks before it even comes out. So all I did was pitch the idea to people that this seems a bit suspicious, and it has been proven time and time again, and even with video games, that they pay off the critics. Why is this such a far-fetched idea? People want to praise the shit out of this movie, but just look years and years ago. We used to get good superhero movies. People pretend like there wasn't good superhero movies. We had Spider-Man 2. We had, X2 for a while. We had these good superhero movies. And the critics would mostly badmouth them. They got decent reviews, but they wouldn't be getting glowing reviews. And it was mostly because the critics didn't really understand these characters. They weren't comic book fans. They don't really get into these characters. They don't get emotionally invested like Marvel and DC fans do when they're watching a movie. Let's be honest. A person who is not a Marvel fan is not going to take to a movie as well as somebody who is. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. This is like, for example, the Ninja Turtle movie that was released in 1990. I grew up as a massive TMNT fan. Um, Now, I enjoy this concept of four big green turtles pretending that they're ninjas. And I appreciate it. You had Jim Henson costumes, beautiful, great movie, one of my favorite fantasy action movies, I guess you could say. But somebody who never heard of the Ninja Turtles is going to see a bunch of rubber suits. They're not going to appreciate the transition from animation comic books to the big screen. they're not going to look at it the same way. They're not going to see, that this is a Jim Henson costume design masterpiece. No, they're going to look at the movie and they're not really going to understand it. You see what I'm saying? So the critics never really liked these kind of movies to begin with. Now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you notice Disney takes over and, oh, these movies are beautiful. All the critics love them, and it's all I was saying about the Batman versus Superman movie. It's not me being butthurt or anything like that. There's no connection to me just saying, oh, they get paid off because I'm pissed off. No, I didn't think Civil War was a good movie. I think it's very low quality. I think it's a cheap cash in. It's first of all, Winter Soldier was a great movie, and I've explained this time and time again. You had memorable scenes such as the elevator escape, Nick Fury in the van, these great thrilling moments. You had great character development with Captain America. You really got a sense of who the guy was as a hero. You didn't get that with this movie. You also had a disappointing villain. There was so many things wrong with this film. It was, bloated. It was dull. I didn't really like the story. The story didn't even really make that much sense. People are saying, "Oh, well, it's not like the Superman Batman one made it any more sense." I explained it. And then when I go on to explain it, another person then says, "Oh, well, you're not a genius for explaining the movie because it was so simple to understand." People just said the movie didn't make any sense. I explain it, and quite well, mind you. And then I get, verbally assaulted for that. What do you people want from me? Anyway, back to you, video game Steve. Getting a little sidetracked there. You come at me basically saying that you called it, that I was going into this movie pretty much with a poor attitude and I was going to rate it down. I make a nearly hour-long video with not only that, but a first impressions supplemental video that was like 18 minutes long. And all I do is talk about the movie and the pros and cons. I Not all of it was negative. Like I says, I liked, what's his name, Tim Holland, whatever his name is, that plays Peter Parker. I said that he did an all right job, but the CGI looked rushed. There was no reason for Black Panther or Spider-Man to be in there. They just shoehorned him in. And it's not like I'm saying, like, it's okay if they do it well, but it was a freaking rush job. I mean, do you guys see what I'm trying to say? That this movie, the CGI should be beautiful. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar film, but the CGI for Spider-Man, it looked like it was done by a college freshman year graphic design amateur, and they just threw it in there just so Spider-Man could have moving eyes. It didn't really make any sense to me why they would, sacrifice the movie having great visuals in that one part in particular. Not that the whole movie had bad visuals. There's some good CGI and there's some decent CGI. We're not talking about Jungle Book quality CGI, but then again, it wouldn't be fair to compare. I'm already getting a lot of hell from people for comparing Batman versus Superman to this movie. You're not allowed to compare. I'm getting hell for comparing DC to Marvel, even though people have been comparing the two companies for decades. All of a sudden, I do it. God forbid I say something bad. Why is it? Why is nobody allowed to dislike Civil War? Is it really that far-fetched for somebody to not like this movie? And there's so many problems with it. And people then say that I couldn't find any flaws with Batman versus Superman. No, I pointed out what was wrong. I did. I just said that there's not really that many things so wrong with it that people would say that it was a bad movie, that it was so fucking horrible. And people will turn around and say that this movie is good. I mean, there were some parts in this movie where I said where it was so dull, it was so bogged down in litigation and explaining the accords to the point where, I was basically falling asleep. I mean, to make like these people saying this is the best Marvel movie of all time. I mean, there comes a time when you're just being so ridiculous with hyperbole that you're just looking like a damn fool. I mean, you know, while we're at it, oh, these are their opinions, Brad. Okay, well, here's the thing. Since opinions don't matter, and I think that Civil War sucks, I'm giving myself the ability to say whatever I want because this is my channel and I can do that. But you see, video games, Steve, you called it. It doesn't matter. You're not going to start a huge revolution. You got that catfish on there, the girl with the blue hair who's calling me ugly for whatever reason because she enjoyed the movie with her boyfriend, even though it's obvious that that's a guy um, posing. This is the thing. People here on YouTube, they're really. Let's be perfectly honest. There's not a lot of females that watch this channel. It's just the content that I put on here. I'm not saying that there ain't a couple of girls, but let's be. I'll be perfectly honest. Most of my audience is males. So you put a girl there, like you got an attractive girl in the avatar, your little profile pic, and people are gonna just instantly agree because oh wow, it's a girl on the internet. I don't know where she lives or anything, but I'm going to agree with her because there's a small chance that might get laid by her even though you're not even sure if this is an actual girl, where she lives, or anything about her. All you know is that she has an opinion about liking Civil War. So you see, but this is like I see this all the time, all over the internet, and it's pretty obvious that that is a catfish. But there's a lot of other people saying, oh, fuck my opinion, and fuck this, and fuck that. And the thing is, a lot of these people, I see they're returning people. They come on all my videos and give me a hard time, and they're trolls. The thing is, if you notice that you are consistently not enjoying my videos, do not come on my channel and give me a hard time about it. If you know how it is here on this, and I get this reputation, oh, Brad, you say that everything sucks. Yeah, okay, well, I do praise a lot of things. Like I said, if a movie comes out like The Jungle Book and it really dazzles my eye and it really does something original and everything, you understand. Pretty critical about a lot of things. You know how it goes on this channel, not new. So if you're returning here after years and years and you keep on seeing that I'm negative, that's the thing. There's a lot of movies and video games and shows that are released and they're going to be bad. They're going to be rush jobs. They're not going to be that good because that's just life. These people are putting things out, and some people are better at making movies. Some people are better at making video games, and some people are not. Okay? So that's the thing with Civil War. This was one of those times when it wasn't a good movie. But if you keep coming here year after year and you notice that you're not really agreeing about what's being said and you don't really appreciate what I'm saying on my channel and you notice that you're consistently disagreeing and it's really affecting your life, like you're making 20 comments like you video game Steve, and you notice that it's like, yeah, I mean, like I'm going to go ahead and say it's really affecting your quality of life. You cannot get away from that video. You keep on trying to rally people behind you to wage war against me. It's just a video. It's just a movie. It's not like I'm going on some epic campaign to try to, prove that Batman versus Superman is a superior movie. That is just my opinion. And you're making like this is World War III or something like that. And it's simply not. You keep on saying, oh, I called it. He said it on Facebook. Oh, okay. I said it. And what does that really mean? So why are you acting so shocked when I finally make the video review about it? I paid $15 to go see the movie. I'm not gonna bootleg it like some of the idiots out there. I'm actually gonna sit down, support Marvel because I am a Marvel fan. I enjoy the movie. I mean, I enjoy going to see the movies. I didn't enjoy the movie. I ended up not enjoying it, and that is just my opinion. And sadly, that is just something that you're going to have to live with. Not going to change my opinion. I mean, this is what I don't get. People lose their minds unless everybody agrees on one thing that they like. And it's like, is this movie really that good? And people are telling me I don't know what a good movie is and everything like that. Um, You just take a look at this movie and you're like, is this really one of the best movies ever? I mean, really ask yourself that. Like, just I know you're all hyped up, and that's what it is. But I feel like if you go back and you watch this movie a couple more times, you're gonna realize that it's kind of foolish what you're saying. This is not a movie that's gonna be remembered for years to come. It's just one of those movies that you see, you get hyped up because you're being a fanboy about it, you're marking out, and then you're just going to end up forgetting about it eventually. It's nothing to lose your mind over. I'm just saying it's the aggression of some of these Marvel fanboys. And that's no insult to you, video game Steve, but it just is just the total fandom that you're showing is just excessive. Good. You're a Marvel fan. Fine with that. Go ahead, enjoy the movie, and you're just gonna have to put up with the fact that other people are gonna disagree with your opinion. I mean, is it that crazy? Like I said, why? Why come back to my videos if you notice that they annoy you so much? It's so simple here on YouTube. It really is. If you don't like the content, you could go ahead and not watch the videos. If you're subscribed, I don't know if you still are, you could click unsubscribe and my videos will never pop up in your feed again. It's as easy as that. I don't understand. If something so deeply offends somebody and they can't live with it, how can you not live? I mean, the thing is, what drives me insane is there's people all over the place in this world with different opinions. And you can't really control what's said to you, like at work or in social situations. But here on YouTube, you can control the content that enters your ears. It's so simple. And it all starts with what videos you click. So why click the video that says Civil War sucks if you, in fact, enjoy the movie? I mean, I can understand. Like me, I want to hear alternate perspectives. Just like I was listening to Doug Walker reviewing, they had the roundtable discussion on League of Critics. A big fan of Doug Walker and the Nostalgia Critic. And that movie was just a total that movie review that they did was just a total fangasm. I was a little bit surprised at Doug Walker. I mean, this is a guy that's super critical about everything, and the fact that he couldn't pick out any of the flaws, especially the flaws that I named in this movie. I mean, it was kind of just sad. I mean, it really was, and that's why I'm saying if you guys are seeing this movie as perfect, you're just basically lying. And what's so funny is if you take a look at all these comments, you don't see anybody trying to debunk any of the stuff that I said about it. Not even anybody taking a stab. Once again, it's the old, tired arguments of you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. Oh, you said something at one time, that I disagree with, that, such as Batman versus Superman being a good movie, and I think it was a terrible movie. So your opinion doesn't matter. So based on that, if you don't respect anything I've said based on my previous views towards things, why go ahead and watch my videos? Why subscribe to me? Why keep coming back for more and giving me a hard time? I mean, that's really sad. It's like, and this, I'm not going right to you, video games. See, I'm talking about everybody, the catfish and everybody else on the channel. Don't keep coming back. Stop giving me a hard time, trolling me, posting 20, 30 comments, repeating the same thing over and over. Get a hobby. Do something else. Don't like the general consensus of views that are on a topic that you like. Go ahead and make your own videos. Try to turn the tables, change the way of the tides. Do something here productive. But you're just going to be a comment troll, and you're just going to give everybody a hard time over an opinion based on the movie. No, sorry, you're not going to get any respect for that. Just maybe the respect of other trolls you might team up, but really, what is that? Is that really how you want to live your life here on YouTube? You just want to come on here, make fake accounts, post hate comments, and I'm all open for debate. And you guys see, I get right there in the comments and I'll start debating people. But there's nothing even worth debating with you people. There's not, because there's no arguments here. There's nothing arguing the plot or the character development or even choices like the Spider-Man CGI. Is anybody saying anything about that, about how low quality it is? No. Not even Doug Walker has the guts to say that, which is why I'm saying I seriously, genuinely think that Disney has a lot of power, a lot of influence, and they might have handed a bit of cash over to some of these critics to kind of change the tide, and because it seems like it's really working. People don't want to disagree with the critics. They're just like, oh, this is an awesome movie. I see the fans and everything, but they're not really getting right down to it and really seeing what some of the real major flaws about this movie were. I mean, and it's one of the most glowing ones is just basically how Spider-Man looked in this film, the cause of the Civil War. These things about collateral damage. So why is Tony Stark siding with the government? Do we get any information on why he has this point of view? To me, it just didn't make any sense. I mean, even before he knows that Bucky killed his parents, and that's also something that's just totally thrown in there out of nowhere, and that's just towards the end of the movie. But they were fighting even before that, so it's kind of like your mind just farts, basically. You get a brain fart from those types of things because it's ridiculous and it doesn't make any sense. And the movie is just so slow in some parts. Like I said, they go over this litigation so many times. And where is Shield during all this? Where is Shield? Why do the Avengers have to operate under the United Nations? Where did this come from? Don't they operate under Shield, which is a form of the government? And also, Hydra is so quiet. They reactivate Bucky, unleash him on the masses. But other than that, Hydra's really kind of not that big of a threat here. We don't really see too much from Hydra. And Zemo is one of the most is probably the dullest villain I've ever seen in the movie. And like I said, you guys noticed that I even went against my own views. I said Zemo was boring, but maybe they didn't want to use such a high profile villain because they didn't want to take away from the impact of the conflict between Captain America and Iron Man. And even that they could have did better. They could have done way better character development other than Iron Man being, kind of passive aggressive in certain parts. Tony Stark is passive aggressive. In the trailer, he says, sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth. And they show that in the trailer like he's saying it aggressively, but really in the actual movie, it's just a joke. There's not really there's so much dialogue in this movie. Like I said, the first hour and a half is totally bogged down in dialogue that could have been cut. I mean, they could have easily shaved a half an hour off of this movie. There's just so much litigation, so much talking, so many useless lines of dialogue that could have progressed the story a lot faster just by simply making a couple of choice edits. That's all I was asking for. You see here, I'm repeating myself for everybody. I'm repeating what I didn't like about this movie. It was long. It was bloated. There wasn't enough character development. The visuals really left a lot to be desired, and there wasn't any memorable action scenes. Like I said, you want your memorable action scenes? Spider-Man 2, the train scene. Captain America, Winter Soldier. This is a movie that is a direct sequel to that, but instead this is called Captain America, but it feels more like a sequel to Age of Ultron. And people are saying, oh, it doesn't matter, okay, so maybe it is more like Avengers 3 than the Captain America movie. Well, that is my point. I'm going into this movie thinking that this movie is going to be bigger and better than Captain America 2 Winter Soldier because, this is, that was a great movie. And this is the sequel. And this is Marvel. And they always try to top themselves by adding more and more and more. And this was just way too much. And that's why I was really disappointed in somebody like Doug Walker. Doug Walker is a guy that, he says these things. He's very, very, very gets emotionally invested in characters, as do I. So the fact that he was actually praising this movie because it had a lot of characters in it just totally blew my mind. It did. the fact that he was actually praising a movie simply because it had a lot of characters. Even though a lot of these characters weren't used very well, and they just throw them in there. Ant-Man is in there just to make an appearance. Black Panther is just there basically to promote the other movie. Hey, Black Panther's there. And Spider-Man is there for the same reason as well. And he wasn't even originally planned to be in the movie. He is shoehorned in there. And it looks like a rush job. Like I said, the CGI just looks terrible. It looks awful. He looks like a Macy's parade float. He looks like the float that was in the parade. And I have said that time and time again. But yeah. Well, let's ignore all this. Let's not appreciate. And I gotta say to my subs and everybody else that that did appreciate the review. I'm not just praising the people just because they agreed with me. So get over yourself. I just want to say that there was even people that commented saying they liked the movie, but they enjoyed my video. As I said, they enjoy alternate perspectives. Why do you want to watch a video where it just is praising something? Personally, even if I like a movie, I like to hear what certain critics have to say, certain users on here, because they put things in an interesting way. Hey, such as Doug Walker. Doug Walker has reviewed movies that I've loved, and I love how there's people that have watched my videos, like I said, that they're hating on me. I did a video where I explained why I like the prequels to Star Wars. And people were even posting that, oh, you like the prequels, so I'm not going to pay attention to what you say. So, obviously, you were interested in enough in hearing what I had to say about the Star Wars prequels. Obviously, once again, you could just say, oh, this guy's an idiot, I'm not clicking the video. But you were interested enough in listening to what I had to say about the Star Wars prequels. Unless you just looked at the title of a video, then that's just retarded because you're just, oh, there's a title of a video and I'm just going to use that as an argument. Stupid, dumb. That's like people that just read the headlines that are usually false anyway, and from the media, and they'll just make an argument based on that. But anyway, you take what I said about the Star Wars prequels and use it in something that's totally unrelated, two movies that are completely incomparable to one another, and you're going to compare that. So you come in on this video. So if you're not interested in hearing what I had to say about Civil War based on my views on the Star Wars prequels, why did you click the Civil War video? If you already didn't like what you heard on this channel, you would think that, oh, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'm going to another channel. No, instead, let's keep clicking on this guy's videos, even though I hate him. Which leads me to believe that it's really anything but, and you're just being a troll, and you're just giving me a hard time, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I really don't have an explanation of why people do this. I want to say that they're trolls, but they're not traditional trolls. They're just, the trolls that like to give people a hard time, basically. And like I said, I really don't, if you don't like my style of videos, if you don't like that ultra critical thinking, I mean, like I said, I would think that a lot of people would appreciate that here on YouTube. Like thinking and thoughts and criticism, breaking things down and really exploring why something is a certain way it is in the movie instead of blindly praising it. This movie's awesome. You could do that. You could go to all these Machinima, sponsored videos and everything if you want to hear a super ultra positive review. Without a doubt, if these people are obviously paid by Disney because they give these super positive, very vague reviews. Do you want those kind of reviews like, oh, this movie has great action and Spider-Man was in it, that's awesome, didn't expect that, dude? You could go and listen to a review like that and you'll walk away and you won't be educated about the movie at all. You'll just pretty much, you could have figured that out from your trailer. Action, Spider-Man, Civil War. They're fighting each other. There's two sides. You could get that, and it's not really a review. That's a synopsis. I can't fucking say that word. But anyway, that is just basically a general overview of what the movie is about. You could go on Wikipedia or IMDb and figure that out for yourself. So you don't even need that 4-minute review. Instead, here you get these big scathing reviews breaking almost everything down in the plot, explaining why certain things are good and certain things are bad. I think that certain people would appreciate that. That even if it is a movie that they, liked, they'd actually want to see that people are actually going to take the time to really, get down to the nitty gritty and not just treat this film like something else. Films are art. We need to break them down. We need to analyze them. Why people pay to go into museums so they can stare at paintings and they're trying to, figure out what it is, what the artist was trying to do. Here with movies, it's a little bit easier. We can kind of see because there's dialogue, there's, reasons for things happening here that are right in front of our faces. So I'm going to break it down for you. And if you can't appreciate that, well, that's too bad. I think what it is, people they miss the point of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to break down these movies, I'm not doing it to piss people off like a lot of people say. Why would I do that? I'm not going to make a video just to piss people off. What would that prove? I mean, what do you think? I'm making all this stuff up? I think you'd be able to tell if I was making it up or not. I'm giving genuine reasons. It's not like I'm making a big joke out of it. I do that sometimes. I do make jokes about the movie. I mean, I am putting it like with a little sense of levity in there. But I'm not doing this to troll anybody, which maybe they think is what it is. But yeah, I really don't understand coming at me, giving a hard time for voicing an opinion about a movie that really a lot of people are just going to forget about when the next movie comes out. When Avengers 3 comes out, you're just going to praise that movie too. And I'm sure it's going to get a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. And, we all hold that in such high regard. The Rotten Tomatoes review, whatever that says, you have to agree with it, basically. And that is horseshit. That is fucking horseshit. And despite what a lot of people say, there are a lot of people that like Batman versus Superman. They went and saw the movie, and they did not give a shit what people, what the critics had to say about it. It's just a movie that I liked. It doesn't mean that just because I like that movie doesn't mean that I'm totally, discredited. Yeah, I mean, so this is the thing. So I have to say Batman versus Superman sucks so I could still have the integrity where people will appreciate my future videos. No, I already said this time and time again. I am not making up a story. I am not putting out a fake machinima style review, just to fit the general consensus and popularity of a certain movie or game. No, not going to do that. That would completely defeat the purpose of why I'm here on YouTube and what I strive to do. Trying to make good, honest, quality, entertaining reviews actually mean something and have a bit of substance to them, which a lot of videos lack. And that's why I do what I do here, because there's way too many videos out there with close to 1 million views that are just fucking jokes, basically. Let's be perfectly honest. A lot of people out there like PewDiePie and the rest of them that, they're sucking up all the subscriber counts and video view counts and being so heavily promoted here on YouTube, and they suck. They do. There's no substance to them. They don't really have anything new or original to say. They're just pretty much taking up a lot of oxygen here. And that's just really that's just the fact of the matter, really. Guys. So yeah. So there you go. All I want to say is video game Steve. Please, man, just calm down. Hopefully this video helps and it kind of explains, but it's probably not going to help that much because you just seem like you're genuinely upset. Look, I'm not going to like this movie. I'm never going to watch it again because I know sometimes certain movies it might take 2 viewings to really appreciate it, but this movie was so bad in my opinion that I cannot watch it again. I'm not going to watch it again. I'm not going to watch a movie that bored me so much the second time around. I don't care about how many nods to the comic it made. It doesn't matter that fucking Spider-Man. I'm, what did these people say? I'm just like a DC fanboy, and yeah, I mean, oh my goodness, the fact that I've already stated that Spider-Man 2 is one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time. And like I said, there's only two DC characters that I like. Is Batman, Superman. I'm not that crazy about Wonder Woman. I don't even like who they picked to play as Wonder Woman in Batman versus Superman. For an Amazonian girl, that was a very very poor choice. They picked some Israeli girl. Um, this actress that I couldn't care less about, and she really does not really look like Wonder Woman to me. I don't really care about Green Lantern or any of these other characters. I really don't. It's just Batman or Superman. It's just two superstars. Everybody else is just I don't like them. I just honestly I really don't. Um, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of Batman versus Superman. I've already treaded over this ground way too many times, but I'm just gonna say, it's just what did it for me was basically the Ben Affleck performance. He's probably one of the best Batman I've ever seen in my life. Probably even better than Christian Bale. Just from this one performance alone, I am so looking forward to Ben Affleck making his own Batman movie. I'm actually really got a lot of faith in it. The fact that I was that this is the thing here. Video Game Steve, you called it. I was on Facebook. I was on every single form of social media destroying this Batman versus Superman. Ben Affleck is going to be terrible. Ben Affleck already proved that he's a horrible superhero movie actor with Daredevil. Go to see the movie, pay my $15, and I end up loving his performance. So it's not about calling anything. It's not about jumping to conclusions. It's not about trolling here on YouTube. It's not about making fake videos just to piss people off. No, it's about actually being a real person here on YouTube, not some synthetic machinima fucking robot, cyborg, or Terminator shit head that's like, on here like fucking PewDiePie, just, clogging up the fucking tubes on here with total nonsense. No substance, no nothing, no entertainment value, no quality sense of humor, no nothing like that. This is real genuine reviews, real genuine material that is basically just a guy sitting in a fucking chair or standing up sometimes or sitting in his car giving his 2 cents on what he thinks. And they're real views. There's nobody with a shock collar on me, not controlled by anybody, not controlled by any company or sponsorship, and I'm not forced to say anything. Just saying how I feel about a movie. That is all. That's all I do here on YouTube. I don't start any drama with anybody. I think you see that. I don't pick fights with anybody like a lot of people on here. I don't try to swindle anybody out of money. I don't ask for any donations. The only thing I think I ever asked for is anybody is not using a capture card so I can do better video game reviews. That's probably the only thing I've asked for on here. Just if anybody, I'm not asking for any money. I'm not faking like anybody else, acting like a beggar on the fucking street. Just making some reviews to entertain the people and, entertain myself. That's basically it. All right, motherfuckers. Have a nice day.